Tell us a little bit about the sport that you were involved in. For those who don't know much about the kind of motorsports and things like that, tell me a little bit about what your sport was.
Well, I raced motocross, which is like playing in the dirt really on motorcycles. So I did that from the age of 2-3 years old, and then I was quite fortunate that it took me all over the world and was able to win my title at the end of it.
Wow. Yeah. A little description you said about joining there, because I know there's different types of motorcycles, and some jump from skips to pipes, and some are just straight tracks. What was the type of racing that you did?
Well, like I say, with motocross, so we race across dirt. You mainly use the old scrambling and things like that. So you go around a track, a man-made track in the fields, and man-made jumps. So you're going sometimes 60, 70 feet through the air, 30 foot up there. So it's pretty exciting.
And have you ever come across any problems on your motorbike?
I've had a few, and I think that's one of the great things with Model B now, because fingers and broken bones for so many years, it's allowed me to do a bit more exercises, which I wasn't allowed to do a few years ago before I got on the juice.
Wow. I'm going to ask a candid question. When you're on a motorbike, surely it's the bike that does all the work, so why is it important for you to be in good shape?
I used to keep asking that question for about 15 years before I won one. Why do I need to train? But no, it's quite physically demanding, I think, on previous tests and stuff. They're up there with the most, as you can see, I'm an ex-athlete now, the fittest guys out there, so it's a pretty demanding thing to do.
Certainly within that particular industry, motorsport and that kind of thing, there's a lot of endorsements. You know, we're not going to mention any brands here today. There's a lot of endorsements. What was your experience as someone who was in that industry?
I mean, I was fortunate that I was able to be a racer, and then I went on the other side of the fence, and then I went into the corporate world. And you know, one of the great things that I really saw with some friends of mine, Jeff Ebbing is my sponsor, and I was able to go to an event. I didn't know where I was going. I just went out to this event in the US, and he showed me this product and everything, and I just fell in love with the whole thing, because I was away from home anywhere from 46 to 48 weekends a year. Yeah. Like you said earlier, making someone else's dreams come true. And you know, building this business for them, I wasn't seeing my family and all these things, and I'm like, I need something to change. And I saw this, and I just fell in love with it. And I have been ever since. You know, we've had some fantastic things happen within the family with the product, with my daughter and everything. So it's been great.
Yeah. Wow. Jamie. That's a good picture there.
Anyone who knows you knows it's Naomi that does all the work. And Naomi's background, what's her background?
She used to be a dancer, and she went through university and got all the degrees, and then halfway through it she started getting injuries and things, so then she went in and became a sports therapist, so with nutrition and everything, but you know, she just used to look after me during our racing careers, because she got her degree and got her first honours with it, which we all very proud of. She came around the world, and I won't be aware with the title if it wasn't for her.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I've been to Jamie and Naomi's house many times, and it's always quite funny because the kitchen is really the focal part of the house, isn't it? Everyone sits around the island and talks and things. And every time you see one of your daughters come in, fridge opens, one of you comes out, they'll go back into the TV room. So it's certainly a product that I know your children and things. Now, both throughout your time as an athlete, but also the time afterwards that you've been involved in corporate and things like that with some of the major retail brands really within the drinks market for motocross and things. I know that you've, for lack of a better term, rubbed shoulders with some pretty big names and things like that. So you mentioned Jeff Ebbing, who introduced you, who's also a world champion, very, very big name on American television. But here in the UK, I know that you've been working with some people. So do you want to tell us about some of the people you've been working with?
Yeah, a friend of ours, and we introduced him to the juice about 6 months ago now, and he's been slowly getting into it. And that's Derek Redmond, an ex-Olympian. Maybe people remember the story of Derek because he was favourite to win the Barcelona Olympics, 400 metres, and he pulled his hamstring during qualifying in the second round. And you may have seen stories with him and his father taking him to the finish good story now because his father's going to be carrying the Olympic torch in a few weeks. So, you know, Derek Redmond's involved, and then, you know, through some friends, that ex-rugby player Derek Jelly, who's a 5-time Premier League champion with Leicester Tigers, won 2 European titles, and our kids go to school together actually, and we just give them some juice, and he runs a lot of marathons now, and he had to stop through injury himself, and he's had with the problems with these, a few things with his shoulders and stuff, and all them problems have gone, so they love the juice, and you know, we can't get enough of it now really.
and they're both now going to be one of the athletes as well for us, aren't they? Derek and Derek, the two Dereks. Another gentleman that you introduced us to, and it was somebody that I was really excited about. Somebody who's a recognisable name. And so, why don't you go ahead and announce who one of the UK's first ambassador is? He's not an athlete, he's a TV celebrity. So why don't you go ahead and introduce who the first Monavie ambassador is going to be?
Well, he's been a good friend of ours for a while, and he's actually our little daughter that had all the problems and why we found Monavie realistically. And he saw what it had done for Layla, and through that he's like, what is that stuff? He started drinking it, and now he loves it that much he's going to come on as an ambassador. His name's Kelvin Fletcher. You may know him as Sydney Holiday.
Right on.
For the ladies who don't know him, go and Google Andy Sudden, you won't be disappointed. He's a very handsome man. So I'm going to get him to give you some training techniques. And I know that Calvin really wanted to be here, and they got called in for filming at the last minute. So. Yeah, the last 2 days have been crazy. One of the guys, one of the main actors he's with, is finishing, and they were supposed to finish yesterday, and he kept getting pushed back, and then now they got it. And then he was even trying to get himself wrote out a scene, so he didn't have to be there, and he could get back. And then about 11 o'clock last night, they were like, they'd not got finished, and they had to finish this morning. So he apologises he couldn't be here himself, but he'll be at the next event. Great. Well, we're looking forward to it. I want to say thank you for being one of our biggest supporters, secretly, like openly, and everything else. So we appreciate the work, we appreciate you and your family. Thanks for being part of the team. Ladies and gentlemen, JAIME DOBB.